Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting through the noise, getting right into something maybe a bit unexpected. We're taking a deep dive into, well, a single task from the Duolingo English test. It's called Highlight the Answer. Yeah, sounds simple maybe, but our mission today is to really unpack it. We want to show you how it works, the surprising precision it actually demands, and the specific reading skills involved. And we've got the perfect guide for this, the actual Duolingo Highlight Answer Task Guide. So we're looking right at the source, the creator's intent, the rules. It's like having the blueprint.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating, I think, is that it's not just, find the info. It's about pulling it out with like surgical accuracy. And honestly, that's a skill that goes way beyond just passing a test. Super valuable for anyone trying to quickly grab the core knowledge from something,
Mhm.
in emails, reports, anything really.
Okay, so let's get practical. Duolingo Task 13, highlight the answer. How does it actually work for the person taking the test? What do they see? What do they do?
Right. So the guide breaks it down. First, you get the question. That comes first, which is important. Then you see the passage, usually just one paragraph. And your job is to, well, highlight the answer. You drag your cursor over the text. What you select pops up in a little box at the bottom so you can check it. Then you hit next. Seems straightforward, but
But it's not just one question and done, is it? The guide mentions time pressure, repetition. It says 7.0 is 0 or 8 minutes for up to 4 of the same type of questions. But then also says a test taker may do this task up to 6 times. That little difference, maybe 4, maybe up to 6, that feels intentional, doesn't it? Like it's signaling something about speed.
oh, absolutely. That immediately tells you, okay, this isn't casual reading. It screams efficiency. And precision under pressure, that slight ambiguity about the number 4 or maybe 6, just kind of underlines how much every second counts. You've got to be fast, got to be right, and manage that clock across several of these things.
Okay, so with that pressure, what are the actual tips the guide gives? How do you get good at this specific thing? It's clearly not just about general understanding.
No, definitely not. The guide gives 3 really key pointers. First, and this is like the absolute core of it, highlight only the answer to the question asked. Not nearby info, not extra context, just the answer. And that could be only a word, a phrase, or an entire sentence. That's critical. Second, it advises read your highlighted text and check your answer before you go to the next question. So a quick self-check. And third, it really pushes you. Try to be precise, as you will do 6 of these questions. Precision, precision, precision. That's the takeaway. And what's really interesting is the guide flat out tells you the skills being tested. Reading, scanning technique, and paragraphing. It basically says this task is scanning. It even describes it as, copying text by dragging the mouse.
Okay, scanning. So given that focus, is there a recommended procedure, like a step-by-step way the guide suggests you should approach these questions?
Yes, absolutely. A very clear 3-step process. Number 1, read the question first. Always. Get that target in your mind. Number 2, then read the entire passage or scan for the answer, so you're not just reading, you're actively hunting for that specific piece of information. And step 3, highlight the answer, and again, it could be just the answer or the entire sentence where the answer is found. But okay, here's the real kicker, the big rule. It says, note, never copy more than one sentence. Your answer will be considered wrong. And then this part. If you are confronted with a sentence that has several clauses, compound, complex, only highlight the clause with the answer. Wow. Right. That's incredibly specific. It's not just find the sentence, it's to find the exact part of the sentence. Even if it's just one clause, you have to cut out the rest.
Whoa, okay, that clause rule. That feels like the secret sauce, doesn't it? Something easy to miss. It totally changes how you'd highlight. It's not just finding it, it's isolating it. Let's make this really concrete with the examples they give. Let's start with the ocean floor one.
Right. So the ocean floor passage, it talks about how huge the ocean floor is, like 2.5 times the land area. It explains researchers see tectonic plate movement, how convection currents in the mantle make them shift slowly, just a few centimeters a year. And it says lots of ocean features happen where these plates meet. They can converge, diverge, or transform. For example, convergence, where one plate goes under another. That causes earthquakes, volcanoes, deep trenches. Divergence, magma rises, makes mid-ocean ridges, new crust, like the mid-Atlantic ridge. Transform. Plates slide past each other, often causing earthquakes too. Okay, so the question for this one is, how do undersea earthquakes occur? Now, thinking about that strict rule, highlight only the answer. The expected highlight, based on the guy's logic, would just be the clause. As plates converge, one might dive under the other, causing earthquakes. You wouldn't highlight the whole sentence if it mentioned volcanoes too, for instance. Just the part answering how earthquakes happen in that context. The guide really implies that level of precision.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You pinpoint the cause related to convergence. Got it. Now let's look at the second example, the French monarchs. This one seems even more complex and probably really shows off that highlight only the answer rule.
Exactly. This passage covers a long stretch, 1,362 years of French monarchy up to 1848. It mentions that, yeah, most died naturally, but quite a few met bad ends. Assassination, poisoning, gives examples. Louis XVI, guillotined during the Revolution, 1793. His wife, Marie Antoinette, too, mentions King Charles X fled after the July Revolution in 1830. And then it says he was succeeded by Louis-Philippe d'Orléans. Years later, he also had to flee, went to England using the name Mr. Smith. And the passage then saying this Louis-Philippe, aka Mr. Smith, was the last French king. So the question is, what is the original name of France's last king? And this is where the guide gives us crystal clear examples of what's acceptable. It shows two correct ways to highlight. Option 1, you highlight the whole sentence. He was succeeded to the crown by Louis-Philippe d'Orléans. That works because the whole sentence contains the name. Option 2, you highlight just the name itself. Louis-Philippe d'Orléans. See, it perfectly shows that rule. You can take the whole sentence if it's concise and focused on the answer, or you can take just the core phrase. What you don't do is highlight the bits about Charles X before him, or Mr. Smith after, just the name.
That's fascinating. It really drives home that it's about pulling out only the essential piece of data. So thinking bigger picture then, what does this tell us about just, being well-informed generally? It really suggests that effective information gathering isn't just reading widely, but reading with like a laser focus, knowing precisely what you're looking for and ignoring the rest.
Yeah, so this whole deep dive, highlight the answer, seems so basic at first glance, right? But really digging in, it's clear it's a test of some very specific skills, scanning quickly, understanding accurately, and then surgically extracting just the exact information needed, rejecting everything else. It's not general reading skill, it's targeted retrieval, almost like data extraction.
Absolutely. And for you listening, the bigger point here is probably that in this, information overloaded world we live in, being able to quickly and accurately find that one crucial piece of information, that nugget, without getting bogged down by everything else around it, that's an incredibly powerful skill. Doesn't matter if you're prepping for a meeting, trying to understand a news report, or just looking something up online, distilling efficiently is key.
So here's a thought to leave you with. Thinking about this specific task.
Yeah.
How often do you find yourself highlighting things, mentally or actually? In an article, an email, even listening to something. Are you grabbing just the core answer? Or maybe a bit more than you really need? How might thinking about this challenge, this need for precision, change how you try to absorb new stuff going forward, maybe push you to be a bit more surgical?